Hey everybody, welcome to NFT Intel, coming at you every Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern with the hottest info on the drops and maybe some marketplace analysis. As always, it is a pleasure to have you along. We're here with Paul C. and Sol Dozer from the Sol Army Project Intel. Welcome, gentlemen. How are you feeling today?
Good, Chris.
Great, Chris. Happy to be here.
Always. I'm I
feeling
know
very
I
Steve
was
Jobs.
exact. That was my next. That was the next thing I was going to say is Dozer, you're looking very Steve Jobs here today. So I guess we're all going to look at Dozer for the innovation. And for anybody that doesn't know the lava boy that is representing Paul C right now, there's also a turtleneck behind there. I just didn't get the memo for mine today, so you know that whatever we're going to say is not financial advice, but very insightful. We got a couple projects on the table for you today, two that are minting this week. We're going to talk about what's on the horizon too. Anybody who's kind of been in the Sol ecosystem for more than a month know that we kind of go through these cycles of up and downs. Utes a few last month kind of was the tide that raised all ships, and now we're back into kind of this, what would you call it? An ecosystem of flatness? I'm not really sure.
Just going sideways. Everything kind of putzing along. You know, nothing going up, nothing going down.
Yeah, it's interesting. We've been seeing quite a few mints fall below floor price. I mean, holding steady pretty well, but you know, there's only so much liquidity in the market. So let's go ahead and just pop right into it. We can pontificate later. For those who do not know, as soon as we are finished with, looks like my stream just broke actually. Okay, well, maybe we'll try this after that. Okay. Always trouble if we're doing with live shows here, so we're gonna just pretend that also didn't happen. Looking at the stream, looks like we're okay. Anyway, so space is right after here. Less technical difficulties, more direct questions, AMA, any of the projects that we're talking about today. You're welcome to join us and provide answers. So first at bat today is, what do we have? We have experiments.
Yeah.
Well, take this away, Paul.
Yeah, for sure. So Experiments is minting on October 19th, which is Wednesday, at a price of 2.25 Sol on Magic Eden Launchpad. They have about 5,000 supply. And what they aim to bring to the space is an educational hub, which is essentially a large alpha hub, which would provide in-depth market and project analysis. They got a variety of different features, such as automated calendars and alerts, in-house analytic tools, exclusive raffles and auctions, as well as a software as a service experimental marketplace, which provides all of these services as well to other communities and projects. They'll also do some doxing, launchpad staking services, and so on. They do have a token which you can stake for with a 20 million supply, most of which will be going to the NFT staking. This platform looks like another great tool that could be really useful for NFT traders on the market. We've seen quite a few of these tools before, so it just depends, as always, if the team's crushing and executing on them, as well as if people really like the tool and will adopt the tool. So that really is the big thing that will determine the success of this project. I know there is a lot of hype, or there was a lot of hype going into this project, but as we touched on a little bit at the start of the show, there's been a lot of liquidity cycling, and it'll be interesting to see if there's still enough hype behind this project to let it see some success this week. What do you guys think about it?
Dozer, I'll let you. I'll let you go here.
Yeah, for sure. I'll here. How about this? I'll give you my one pro, my one main pro, and my one main con about what I think about experiments. So the main pro, start with the good, is that they had what I would consider a relatively successful pre-mint. I haven't looked at the numbers lately, but I know they sold a decent number already, a number of their NFTs already. Brought in a good amount of Sol. Last I checked, I want to say it was over 1,000 had already been sold pre-mint. I'll have to double check on that. The con, I'll say though, is that what sort of they've outlined, and hype could completely take over and lead this project into oblivion. But it's nothing too special. I'm reading through sort of their experimental marketplace software services, and they're highlighting a launch pad that they're doing. They're doing staking, doxing, Discord, and web security. I mean, they're kind of just, in my opinion, poking at keywords that get people's attention. And it could be I could be completely wrong. It could get taken over by hype, but there's nothing that jumps out at me as being 100% innovative and blazing new trails.
Yeah, it's fair. That's fair enough. I like that the supply is 5,000. We've seen a couple 10,000 supplies not mint out in the last couple of weeks. So that's good. Is it going to bring more money into the ecosystem? Probably not. And that's kind of what I've been looking for, is the projects that are actually going to bring in users and bring in money, because those are the ones that add liquidity to our to the Sol ecosystem. Primarily ETH right now, but we're expanding. We're seeing NFTs expand into other chains too, and maybe on this show we will be doing we'll be doing more than just Sol NFTs in a while. The price 2.25 actually seems a little high for a mint in this particular in this bear market that we're seeing. I know that they're doing that because they're they want to mint out. They want the mint funds, right, to kind of go with the project, to build the project. I mean, they're pretty ambitious. They're going to have to build their own analytics suite. They're going to have to provide a bunch of services and utility for people, and honestly, that costs money. So I understand why it is, but for the end user, it's really hard to justify a 2.25 Sol mint price when a lot of mints in the last couple of weeks have been going under. Now, that being said, they do have, they don't yet. That's the next. Oh yeah, no, they do have it. I'm going to cut to it right here. The experiments, they have the experimental hearts, and the floor price is at 360 already. So, or hanging out about 360, 247 with a bunch of integers, so 2.5 actually. So the price is a little bit lower right now than, now it says 505. Look, Magic Eden, it's magic. Floor price on the hearts is about 505, what it's saying right now. So that's kind of good news, but overall, how many analytics tools do we need? I mean, there's going to be one that's going to be the one to go. That everybody's going to go to. They on their website say it's an educational hub. To be clear, it's not Web3 education. Going through their light paper, it's education that includes AI buy sell signals. Alpha calls. So it's like general education that you need. And also they said they'll teach you how to become better traders. I don't know for what that means or not, but those are my thoughts on it. I think that it's a good idea if they can execute. What we need to see now is we need to see one of these projects actually execute what their plan is, because that's kind of the missing piece. There are plenty who have done it. But if they want to raise that floor price, if they want to bring in more money eventually in scale, they're going to have to execute on their project. Any last thoughts on that?
No, I think that's pretty in line with our beliefs for sure. And that's totally valid and true.
Cool. Not to rain on anybody's parade, but this is NFT Intel. We are going to be truthful and honest with you, not always sunshine and rainbows. As sometimes we have cloudy days. We're going to be upfront with that, and we're not saying that you should mint or should not mint any of these projects. We're just giving you information that might not be at the top of mind. Let's go ahead and move on really quick. We've got Steam Solutions, which that's where that came from, Dozer, when I said steampunk. The company's called Steam Solutions. They have a mint coming up in 1 day, 22 hours, 47 minutes, and 50 seconds called the Conductors. Do you want to take this one, Dozer?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
So Conductors, quick facts on it. Dating, minting, like you said, tomorrow. 5,000 supply, 2.5 Sol mint on the Fat Cats Capital Launchpad. Can't remember the last time I saw an FCC Launchpad, so that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen one actually. That's a new one for me.
Yeah, and yeah, I'll sort of be double watching this project. Watch it to see how Conductors is doing, and then see how Fat Cats is gonna perform, because they're also an NFT that you could trade. So if it's successful, pay attention to them too. So for Conductors, what they're doing, they're looking to be in kits of authentication to use NFTs to authenticate retail products. So they're looking to take Web 2 items, or not even Web 2 items, just in real life items like sneakers or other things like that, and use NFTs to authenticate them. Which, I mean, right off the bat, there's a huge market for that. Sneakers alone, I can't remember the exact number that they have on their white paper, but the sneaker market alone is in the billions. Let's see.
Yeah, it was 37 billion.
Yeah, so
it's
a huge market. If you can disrupt any chunk of that, that's really big. But for the Conductors, it really all comes down to sort of their plan on how to disrupt their little part of it that they're aiming towards. So a little bit more about them. So they're looking to make a marketplace to sell these physical products that are linked to the NFTs, and create some kind of store integrations and some APIs allowing ease of access and things like that. They specifically say they plan on using the profits to sweep and redistribute floor NFTs to members of their community, which we've seen before. But that tactic right there, I'll take a pause and sort of explain. That tactic right there is big for Ponzonomic schemes on NFT projects, but when you have that tactic that's backed by actual profits, it's actually it can be a successful model. Profiting, that could actually work out. I know that Lifinity is a project that does that. They provide liquidity. They're a liquidity provider, and they use their profits to sweep their Lifinity flares, and it can be pretty successful. Sorry for that side tangent, but back to Conductors. Their platform is going to be called Whoosh, which I don't believe it is live yet, but that'll be, that'll be the main thing to pay attention to see how the Conductors will perform.
They've got their site up for it.
What's that?
They've got their site up for it already, actually.
Yeah, if you look, it's on. Yeah, if you look, I got one of their screens on screen for Whoosh. It's going to be a mobile app that I believe you can scan QR codes to see authenticity. Let me go ahead and put you guys back here, and I will see if I can actually find the categories to put it up on screen.
Okay. While you're pulling that up, I'll say one last thing about just the overall project. It looks like they're adding in a little bit of lore into their whole ecosystem that they're creating, where you send your Conductors out on adventures for Sol prizes. which I'm guessing those prizes will be backed just by their profits of their marketplace, their sneaker marketplace or whatever it is they're targeting.
Yeah, I'm having trouble finding the actual Whoosh categories. I had them up earlier here, but I'm not really sure where they are at now. Let's get some thoughts. Thoughts on the project, thoughts on the project, thoughts on the mint. Not really sure where I just went to here, but we're gonna figure that out. Oh, I see what happened.
Yeah, the project I think is actually a very cool project. I mean, there's definitely a lot to be said about authenticating and needing that authentication platform across a variety of industries. I am kind of curious how they are going to tie the NFT to the physical item as well. Like, I know that there would kind of be that transfer process and then having that authentication using the QR code and such as well. So I'd be curious to learn more about that. I mean, it definitely is a very important industry to be looking into, and it's one of the only, in my opinion, only valid reasons for kind of NFTs at this time. One of the big limitations naturally is going to be adoption of that platform and how many big companies will be will be using the Conductors authentication technology and Whoosh rather than developing their own. For a while, Nike actually did have their own authentication technology that you could do something very similar with. In terms of minting and success of the mint, I think that's completely determined by the market as everything else is at the time. So we'll have to see what happens. It's a great project, in my opinion, and solves a very cool idea, but it definitely could get played, I guess, by the market conditions.
I wonder what happened. Yeah, I completely forgot that Nike sort of came out with this back when blockchain was first, gaining traction. I don't think that Nike does that anymore. It kind of faded out.
I don't know if it was blockchain related. It might have been their own. I don't know if it was on a blockchain at all, actually. But yeah, they did have their own system for a while.
I think it's a fantastic idea. Personally, like having, and we're eventually going to get there. So having that connection between IRL goods, because we all live in the world, right? And our JPEGs live on our computers, but it brings the whole process of ownership, like complete ownership, sovereign ownership, back to it's just another step in that process. Sorry, I'm trying to think about there is an ETH project, I can't remember what it's called, that does chain of custody with basically kind of the same things. Scanning QR codes, having those put on the blockchain. They're immutable, they can't be changed ever, right? And so then you can always trust this whole chain of custody. This is kind of like that. The big lift here for me is that it's going to be very difficult to break into a space. They use shoes in their white paper. It's a good example. It's probably the best place for them to start because it's already a high collector's market of in real life art items. But it's going to be difficult to get that adoption from companies who are also in a very similar economic situation. They do have money, but they're watching their bottom line right now. So it may take a while for this to actually gain enough traction to kind of be a thing. So I think that Conductors, if it's a mint, you're going to want to hold it, I say 12 months, 24 months. It's kind of a leap of faith there.
12 months, 24 months. That's,
I mean,
those are timelines that are tough to hear in the NFT space.
Well, I mean, you're looking at bridging NFTs and real worlds. We know that large companies don't turn on a dime, right? And so there would have to be whole processes on the physical goods side that will allow for this NFT side to work. I think it's a great idea, but it's going to take a lot of work and a lot of collaboration. And so I say 12 to 24 months, just based on my experience, like kind of in hardware and supply chain and stuff. I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer. It just takes these large companies a long time to do it. And if they're not working with large companies, I doubt they're going to get the traction that they're going to need in order to survive. So those are my candid thoughts on it. I do like the art.
Me too.
Yeah, the art is cool. I mean, if you even, I guess my tough thing with that like timeline would be like not even DGOTS has really been around for over a year, so it's really hard to consider and think about where we would be in another year. That's just me. And looking at those longer timeframes and longer timelines, that's definitely tough as an NFT investor in this space. There's a lot of stuff that moves super quickly, and anything can happen, especially with those longer timeframes. One of the big things that I would love to see from a project is always the funding, and can they survive that long, right? Because there's a lot of projects that maybe don't necessarily have the runaway to do so.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is still a new industry, and so miracles may happen. I would encourage everybody just to take a look at it. As with everything too, we know NFTs are tremendously volatile and risky assets to get in. We're all a little crazy. We're all a little degen. We're here to make money. And honestly, like if you take it back to like where the Bitcoin maxis start, like, okay, what is your time preference? Do you have a high time preference or do you have a low time preference? Right? BTC, you invest, you have low time preference. I think that's the way it goes. Anyways, that you can, I'm going to have this BTC, I'm going to hold it for 20 years and then retire, right? It's hard. It's a difficult pill to swallow with NFTs. And as we see in the market, sometimes people start dumping NFTs after a mint, not before they're even minted out, right? So we know we're not in an industry with a lot of like people who want to wait a long time to see a return on their investment. If they did, they would probably have IRAs or something.
Yeah.
What's
good financial decisions? No thanks.
Were you going to say something, Dozer?
Oh no, I was just joking. I was joking around. I know we only have 5 minutes left, so I don't want to get hung up too much on conductors.
Okay, let's talk about Elixir then. We're going to jump into the horizon. Elixir doesn't have a date. We don't usually do this. So we can talk, I'll give you a choice. We can talk about, for the next 5 minutes, we can talk about Elixir. We can talk about the state of the Sol market, which we've kind of already covered. Or we can talk about optional royalties. What do you guys think?
Why don't we save optional royalties and state of the market for the spaces? I think we can chat about, and then we can chat about Elixir and Horizon for now.
Yeah,
and then the people that want to tune in for those other conversation topics can join us on the spaces.
Yeah, let's do that. It looks like this little graphic that I have up here is kind of trying to break the stream. So I'm going to. Let's try this again. There's a lot of stuff going on here that I'm not really sure why it's happening. Anyways, Twitter Spaces, Project Intel, on Twitter, at Project Intel. I'm not going to try to fight with this too much, so I'm just going to say it, at Project Intel. Also, make sure that you take a look at the Exodus Web 3 wallet. Exodus Web 3 wallet. Also, there you go, it's not coming up. We're going to take that off and hopefully we'll get everything back. Your whole answer for interacting with Web3. Sol, ETH, Algo, Poly, BSC, There's one other one. So that's at least 5 chains and more coming toward the end of the year. So go to exodus.com/web3 wallet and realize the future is multi-chain. And that's my shill for today. I mean, you're watching Exodus YouTube channel. So also remember to like and subscribe to the channel. Let's really quickly talk about Elixir and then wrap up in the next 2 minutes here and head on over to the spaces. Any thoughts on Elixir? I'm going to pop them up here. Go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, well, Elixir's already given out like a, well, I believe it's a free mint. Technically not, because it's an OVO or OVO stone that has value, but you were able to get OVO Stone from providing liquidity on their platform, which you could have done for free. So technically free mint, kind of not. But yeah, so they just minted their nectars, which we've talked about on Horizon for quite a few weeks now, actually. So those are out. And I believe the floor, last I checked, was 50. It's now at 41.5. So these nectars here, which are from Elixir, will give you some serious perks in that Elixir ecosystem. So Elixir, the next collection, which is something you want to get on the Who list for, will be minting early November and will, of course, have a little bit of gray area utility, but will provide value to the holders in that Elixir ecosystem. So Elixir is aiming to, at least from what I understand, go toe-to-toe with HadesSwap and become another aggregator, and no, sorry, not an aggregator, an automatic market maker for NFTs, or automated market maker for NFTs, providing instant liquidity to your once illiquid JPEGs, no longer. And they'll also offer a variety of other things to traders, such as longing, shorting of NFTs, which are kind of like those futures options. So that's a very cool project to watch out for, and definitely a very interesting direction that we're heading in this ecosystem towards these providing the liquidity for the once illiquid NFTs. So very cool. Definitely one to watch coming up. And yeah, any other ones you guys have on the horizon for now?
I do not.
For Elixir or in general?
Just in general.
In general, or if you have a comment about Elixir, of course.
No. Let's see, Mad Labs I was looking at. There's a Feeble. Feeble's a good one that I'm paying attention to. Check them out on Twitter. They're doing something interesting with engage to earn in a way where you earn their NFT by engaging on their Twitter. Feeble. What else? The Near project, Mara, is coming out with a Sol version, which I was pretty shocked to see that their floor price over on Near was still the equivalent of what's about 100 Sol. So that
wow.
could be something. Yeah. Yeah, it was like 800 some Near is their floor price still, which is great for them. So hey, if they can bring a fraction of that over to Sol, good.
That must be their Gen 0 collection though, hey?
Yes, yeah. Definitely.
So not the Gen 1s that they've minted already.
It's great. Yeah, I don't remember how.
I'm looking forward to Nomads. Sound like they have a good team. The art's pretty good. It's going to be interesting to see. No date on that. It's a 10,000K supply. I think that they're actually reaching out past ETH, so we might actually see the opportunities for some cross mint. Yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that at a later time as it gets closer. But definitely something to keep out on the horizon. I mean, right now, horizon for me is looking like 30 to 60 days. Right, I don't see anything changing in the market within that time. And on that note, 631 or 731 31 after the hour, depending on wherever you are at in the world. Paul and Dozer, thanks for joining us as always.
Of course.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Kris.
we'll move over to Spaces now, and we can chat about market outlook and the royalty debacle, which is always interesting.
I've got some, there's a tease, like I've got a new favorite to counter that too. So thank you for watching, everybody. We're here every Monday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern with the best intel, even if it's not positive, as like tonight, on the Sol NFT ecosystem. Thanks for joining us. And right now, go to your computer, click on Twitter, go to Project Intel, and wait for the spaces to start so you can join us and ask us questions in real time. We will see you next week, everybody. Thank you.